Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, I am so glad that you can join us. I hope you had a great Mother's Day. I know I did. And so, this series is all about us enjoying life. It's all about what we're doing for life now, enjoying life, being intentional, as I say, about life. So, what God has purpose for you, that's what you need to be doing. That's what you need to be asking God for. As we are celebrating mothers this month, we have a great show planned for you. We have a very special person on. Her name is Radia Baxter. She is the CEO of Louis B. Consulting LLC. And she's going to talk to us about motherhood, about her business, and all that she's doing as an entrepreneur. And so I want you to just sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next.
The Safe Organization presents Women and Girls Empowerment Weekend. She leads, she speaks, she inspires. Benefit Gospel Concert, June 27th, 7 p.m. Featured artist Kelante Gavin. Opening artist Tanya Caesar. Stevenson Auditorium, 979 Middleton Street in Orangeburg. Empowerment Summit on June 28th at 10 a.m. Keynote speaker, Lady Sarah Priester. Claflin University Student Center, 1801 Magnolia Street, Orangeburg, South Carolina. For more information, www.girlempowermentday.com.
The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Finkley of the Michael Finkley Show, and you're watching Gold right now. Why? You're watching The Tammy Show. Stay tuned.
It's fine. Welcome back to the show. When we come on the show, we're always having a great conversation. And I told you that we have a very special person here in the studio with me today. She is a devoted mother of three, strategist, project management, social citizen, corporate citizenship. I know I'm going to get her to say it the right way. But listen, she's a mother. And that's what we are celebrating, mothers, and celebrating entrepreneurship. And so I want to introduce you to Radia Baxter. How you doing, Miss Radia?
I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing.
You look amazing, my darling.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing time. Just in general, just to have the opportunity just to be here, like what you talked about just living and loving and having faith and trust in God. It's just an amazing time to be alive.
Well, thank you so much for being with me. I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, so, one of the things that I ask guests all the time is if someone were to see you on the street and they, you're like a celebrity anyway, they'd be like, oh, there's Radia Baxter. What do you tell people? Who is Radia?
So I will start off, who is Radia? It's Jason, Jared, and Jade. I always talk about my kids. They mean the world to me. We've together been on a long journey, and they've gotten me through a lot of things that it could be sickness, death, just journeys, just branches going different ways, trees going different ways. Somebody sent me a YouTube video the other day, and it said, what's in your book bag and how is your shoes laced? And so I can always say that in my book bag of support, it's always been Jason, Jared, and Jade. They've always been my support system. Just, there are tons of other folks that have been included in that, but I would at least find a not robbery to start off with.
Like 3 J's.
With the 3 J's.
Wow, isn't that amazing? And so, as we're celebrating mothers, and I want to ask you, how was your Mother's Day?
Oh, it was great. It was very quiet. Me and my significant other, we came back from celebrating a graduation at North Carolina A&T. One of our best friends as couples, their daughter graduated from North Carolina A&T, which is the same school that my daughter attends.
Right.
So we went to celebrate that with them. And then as we were coming back, we made a stop to my mom's grave and my aunt's grave, they're like best friends. They're not even 2 years apart. And then we journeyed on home, and then we went by his mom's house, spent some time with her, and then came home, and then spent some time with my daughter and one of my sons. So it was very just organically God ordained how it was spent. I just to be able to be here. Again, my thoughts went with folks like myself who don't have their mother, or folks who don't have their children, longer. That was very instrumental for me. Yeah. So
That is amazing. I spent the time resting, of course, and then I had the opportunity to visit my aunt. My aunt Cindy and then my mother. They're right there across from each other, and so put flowers there and all of that, and just celebrate the mothers in our lives.
Right.
So when we talk about mothers, I want to ask you about your mother. What would you say was the greatest lesson that your mother taught you?
Oh, there's just so many. So my mom was very classy, very dainty, but I'm and she was a force to be reckoned with. She spoke, whenever she spoke, you listened. She moved gracefully. She was a God-fearing woman. She even married. She was a great mother to 3 kids, or I would say 4, because I have a cousin who's like our sibling. So we all still, which was her sister above her son. But we all gathered together like we were siblings. But my mom was amazing. She was very strict.
Oh, yeah.
She graduated from Morris College, and then she went to work for the Department of Human Health Services, and then she taught school. And then that's when she met my father, got married, and then she had kids. And we're like 2 years apart, so it's 3 of us. But she was a businesswoman. She was a business analyst, insurance analyst. And she was very much into the church. My grandfather was deacon of the Black River Association. I didn't know all of that. So there were so many lessons, that I learned from her. I think the most one that I can say right now is her faith in God. No matter what, she still had that steadfast faith in God. It didn't matter. My dad was in the military, so he was in the war, he traveled. She still had that faith in God. She knew that that's the journey that he created. When I was diagnosed with cancer, she had that faith in God, and then when it became her faith in God, I can remember because she passed in September of 2016. So it was May of 2016. Actually, it's getting ready to be in a couple of weeks. Me and her had this opportunity to where we just spent the whole day at Myrtle Beach on the balcony where the ocean, all day long. It was a family reunion for my dad's side. And so I told my dad, you go ahead and enjoy the family reunion, and I'll sit here with my mom, because she was diagnosed with brain cancer. And so at this point, it came back at stage 4. This was her second. She had went into readmission and then came back at stage 4. And we knew that, things were a little different. And so I told my dad, go ahead and enjoy your family reunion. And it was just me and her for 12 hours on the porch. And she didn't say too much. And I didn't say too much, but just that time that we were able to spend together in silence. We might have shared some, little intimate things, but just that time, it's just so instrumental for me. Just to be able to be in her presence. Again, like I said, there are so many lessons that I learned. She was just so strong. I could just remember countless times where she had to be bigger than what she had, you know, just in several different spaces. And she, you know, she didn't do the rah, rah, rah. That wasn't her. When she spoke, when she walked, you knew she meant business.
Right.
You know, and she was 5. She was just 5 feet, or maybe barely 5 feet.
Wow. She carried a big stick.
But she that she did. And my kids will say that, you know. She just made a tremendous impact. She loved everybody. Her thing was she never, you never left her space unless you gave her a hug, and it was heart to heart. It was always that. And so I've taken that. That's one of the lessons that I took. And just being a mother, you know, being able to, you know, of course, when you're younger, you're like, oh, she's so strict, you know. She grew up in Somerton, South Carolina, during the time when it was the Brown Girl System Board of Education. Her father was a part of that movement. She was, you know, picked cotton. I was a farmer. So, you know, the strength that she had it was just amazing. And for her to pass that down for me, then me pass it down to my kids. I was telling them the other day that they are her wildest prayers, her wildest dreams, and including with my father. You know, it was just that. I remember when my sister did I don't want to say eulogy, but it was just at my mom's funeral. She talked about how my mom always said that my dad was her steak. That she didn't get hamburgers, she didn't get chicken, but she got steak. All right, you know. And so, you know, my mom was very. She liked to play jokes. One of her 2 holidays was Thanksgiving, because it was around family and giving thanks to God for everything that she had. But the other thing was April Fools, and she would always like to play a joke. And so I have continued the tradition with my father, because my dad would always be like, wake up, like, hey, I gotta get this right, because she's not gonna get me today. Right. So I've carried that tradition on. And it's just so funny. Like, my dad wakes up, he makes sure, you know, hey, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, let me talk to them first, because they're not gonna get me. And every time I've gotten you know, and so it's, you know, those kind of things, those memories.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
How you have those types of memories that you carry on. Just I can think of several things with my daughter, you know, that are traditions. When I was growing up, it was pancakes every Saturday. Guess what? Pancakes every Saturday. You know, things like that, or just talking about how you treat people. I was just telling somebody today about the fact that my mother and my father talked about taking care of the community, just like you do. So what are, and I'm going to ask you specifically, what can you say is one of the lessons that you have taught your children, your 3 J's, that your mother instilled in you?
So giving back and treating people right. So as you said that, my mom always used to say 3 things. Put God first, love your siblings, and actually it's 4, love yourself, and treat people right. And so I have continued that tradition. When my kids were born, we did community service. People know I carried them. We would go to like Mary Ford, Shakur, whatever we did in the community, my kids were with me no matter what. And to this day, it's still like that. My daughter, that is within her. She's always doing community service with something, even when it comes to school. So when my dad, TikTok, they have this tradition where you go spend the night with your grandparents.
Right. Oh, yes, I've seen that. Yes.
So my kids said, oh, well, we're going to do this to our dad. My dad was his granddad. So they did that. Them and my nephew, they knocked on my dad's door. My dad was like, why are y'all here? What are you here for? So they spent the night with him. And then the next day is my dad does, on second Sundays, they go to pass out food at church. And so my kids was like, all right, granddaddy, we're going to pass out food. Oh, wow. And so they went there, they passed out the food. And actually a young lady passed out. And so my daughter was there to administer first aid, get her whatever she needed. And that was just so fulfilling for my dad, because it was like whatever my parents instilled in us about giving back, making sure that we, are doing what God has, we're living the sermon. And to see that the fruits of his labor is still doing something, that the foundation that they set is amazing. And I just made sure that my kids are always doing community service, because it takes a village. And, and if you can be able to get to do that service, it just speaks volumes on so many levels. It helps you get through things that you never would have thought that you could, because you are so service oriented and making sure that people succeed, or people are educated, or the pipeline is continual. So if I know that I'm passing the baton correctly and they're taking it, that's amazing for me. That's all I can ever
Isn't
ask
that
for.
amazing? That's phenomenal. Just to hear that. I know your father probably was looking and saying, "Oh my God, look at my granddaughter. Look at what she did." He probably said, "Oh wow, look at that."
Yes,
Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Radia, guess what happened?
Yes, and to see my daughter acts like my mom and my aunt. Like, my mom used to love to sleep. My daughter will sleep like all day long. My daughter is very studious. She's very outgoing. She's classy. So all of that has a lot to do with my mom and my aunt.
And you just see that passed on.
Yes, and so when my mom passed away, my daughter was in middle school. She had just and so to see that she took all of that she learned, and it's almost been 9 years now, means a lot, that she was paying attention. And not only with my mom, she has another grandmother and her great grandmother. Her great grandmother taught her how to cook. I can cook too, but she taught her how to make
real cook.
the real sweet potatoes and all of it. So, just those things are amazing. I must admit, she has a lot of, from my sister, from my friends, my cousins, her godmom. She has a lot of folks that have just helped her succeed as women, to pass the baton. So it wouldn't be robbery of me if I don't mention all of the women and the ladies in her lives, from her aunts, her aunties, from her mentors. Everybody has played a part in making sure that she succeeds and where she's at right now.
That's right.
And even with all my kids. And I think that's something that my parents and my mom instilled in us, is that we're a village, right? So it doesn't mean that, it's just the parent or the mom and the dad, but it's the aunties, it's everybody. And if we can be a part of everybody's village, then everybody's going to succeed.
Hey, we're going to win. We're going to win.
That's right.
Well, Radia, on that note, we're going to come back, folks. And when we come back, you're an entrepreneur. And I want to talk with you about Louis B Consulting, because all the things that you do, y'all don't know, Radia has been around presidents, and she's been able to coordinate and really make things happen. I'm talking about presidents of the United States. And so when we come back, I want to kind of talk with you about your business, what you do, let people know what it is that you do, and how we can help the community. Okay?
All right.
All right. We're going to be right back, folks. We'll be right back. Thank you.
The Orangeburg County Conference Center supports downtown Orangeburg and our surrounding communities. The 6,000 plus square foot space is ideal for groups of up to 400 people attending corporate meetings, conventions, workshops, and special events. Conference Center staff are inspired to ensure that everyone can enjoy the modern amenities. State-of-the-art ballroom that accommodates up to 400 guests banquet style and 430 guests theater style. A warming kitchen with hot boxes, ice machine, refrigerator, freezer, and counter space. A lobby that accommodates 150 guests with special events outdoors. The comfortable outdoor amphitheater has a video wall and seating. Adjacent to the amphitheater is 12,000 plus square feet of green space that extends events outside, plus complimentary on-site event parking and additional parking across the street. Your event can take place all in one spectacular location. We welcome your special event in Orangeburg.
Hey, you're watching The Tammy Show. And remember to keep it cool with me, AC.
Welcome back to the show. Listen, I'm sitting here, if you're just joining us, with Radia Baxter, CEO of Louis B. Consulting, LLC. We've been talking about mothers because it's all about this series that we have this month about celebrating mothers. But, you know, Radia is also an entrepreneur. And as I told you, she's been in the presence of presidents and kings and queens and helping coordinate all these things. And when somebody has a big dignitary coming to town, guess who you're gonna call? Radia Baxter. So welcome back, Radia.
Thank you. So, yes, I am the CEO of Louis B. Consulting. So Louis B. is named after my mom, Louise Baxter. I wanted to pay tribute to her, and I'm always about generational wealth, right? And we're not talking about dollars, we're talking about knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to ensure that the foundation that I was given for me, that I would be able to pass it on to others. And that's basically what I do when we're talking about Louis B. Consulting. We build, we connect, and we engage. And that could be people to people, that could be people to organizations, that could be businesses to companies, or that could be strategies, that could be whatever it is, just to ensure that not only that underserved, at risk, or just people being able to be present at the table. And when I mean present, I don't mean just a seat at the table. Right. I mean as far as knowledge, as far as strategy, as far as relationship, whatever you can bring to the table, that you're fully invested in whatever is at the table, and not that you're just sitting there just being present. And so that's what we do. So we do a lot of social policy, public policy. We make sure that companies understand, what their effects could be on folks that are at risk or underserved, and how they can be a part of this social advocacy. I am very big on advocating with whatever space it is. I want our folks to be educated and I'm not talking about academia. Right. I'm talking about just knowing processes, systems, and how they can trust themselves to be better than what they were. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves, and we don't trust ourselves enough to where we trust other folk to provide us with the educational or the access to opportunities to be better than what they were. So that is what Louis B does. We empower people, we engage them, we build trust, we build access to opportunities, we connect folk. It's just, to me, that's all about generational wealth. That's all about knowledge and processes.
Yeah. And when you talk about social corporate citizenship, somebody's looking and they hear that big word. Talk to us about what that really means.
So it really means advocating for yourself or advocating for your community. That's what it means. It means making sure that businesses and companies understand the work, what's in the community, and how they can play a part in your community, and vice versa. It's getting companies and businesses to recognize that, yes, we have communities, and community in general. It could be from whatever demographics, it could be from geographic, it could be mindset change, but that they have the opportunity and need the access to opportunity to be at the table when it comes to decision making. We also help with solutions, right? We provide strategy or driven problem solving, to where that way we can help your company understand, okay, this is what your problem is, but we can provide solutions that are within the community or advocacy, just making sure that you're aware of what's going on. So all of those things is what Louis B does. And project management. We assist with whatever project that you have.
What I tell you?
And making sure, as long as it's advocated. We are very big on that advocating part, because you can give everybody tools and skills, but if you cannot give them the education and the knowledge and the access to get to those things, then you have done them a disservice. And we don't want to be in that space. We want to make sure that we are teaching people how to fish so they can fish forever.
Wow. Let me tell you what, when I tell you all, this is a very special lady in so many ways. And I'm so thankful to her because she's taught me a lot. And just knowing that in your business, how you help people, but how you advocate for people. And that's a big part of what I think in today's society that we are missing. We don't have enough advocates.
Right. And I think we don't have enough advocates. And I also feel that we are sometimes, I don't know if you want to use the word scared or nervous about advocating for ourselves, because sometimes when we advocate for ourselves, people take it as the wrong way, right? Mm-hmm. Or they, and then we don't want to push even more. Well, guess what? We have to be in a space to where we feel comfortable, and sometimes it may be uncomfortable. That's right. Because growth, when you're uncomfortable, you grow tremendously, and sometimes we have to trust ourselves to be uncomfortable in certain situations. That way we can be our biggest advocate for ourselves, for our community, for our kids, for whoever, for our village. It's a village mindset. And if we continue that, we can move mountains.
That's right.
And instead of it just being a moment, it's a movement.
Exactly. Instead of it just being for you, it's for other people, and you're passing that on.
Right.
Radia, we're going to come to a close, but I'm going to have you come back at another time, and we're going to delve more into this, because I think it's important for people to understand that we have to be here for each other, and we have to be intentional about it.
Correct. And then you said the word intentional. So my word for this year is intentional and being grounded, right? So we have to be intentional. This right now, we're in a space to where we must be intentional in everything that we do. And that means educating ourselves on processes and systems. We don't have to be loud. We don't have to, we can just, if we can move and understand what we're doing in that pathway, we're going to be a part on a greater movement. And so that, to me, that means a lot for me, to make sure that I provide access and opportunities for folks to be intentional and educated and be able to pass that torch that was passed to me from generations before me, so that way I can pass it on to other folks.
That's right. It would be a force to reckon with.
Right. And we are a force to reckon. We really are. If we could just realize it and take a chance on ourselves, we're so amazing. That's people, talk about, they're tired of hearing about, the boots on the ground and all these other kinds of things. But if you think about it, that's how we've always survived. That's right. We know how to survive and thrive together. And sometimes thriving is just finding joy in whatever. Surviving is finding joy in whatever. And just not take the little things for granted. Because, just even smiling and treating people right, it goes a long way. You could have had a bad day, but your day, just treating somebody with respect and everything, could make their day even better.
That's right. Radia, before we go, there was one thing that I did want to ask you about, and that was advice. Because a lot of young people now are confused. And I'm not going to say all. I'm just saying a lot of them are confused about where they need to stand, what they need to be standing for, what we need to be doing, especially in a time like this. What advice would you have for some young people, especially young mothers? So
for me, I'm just talking about for me, my faith has always been. So number one, trust God and his process, not my process, his process. That would be number one. Number two is, for me, is always stay grounded. Stay grounded in something. Love everybody. You don't have to like them or like their actions, but just love them, because that is what's going to get us over the hump. Be educated. I'm not talking about as far as you talking about, college or grad school, but just know what you know. Know what you know. Know it and know it like you know it. And trust yourself. trust yourself enough. If you don't know it, hey, Aunt Tammy, can you help me? Because I don't know it. Be willing to take a chance. And I know for young people, they're in the microwavable generation. Oh yeah, I got 3 kids. 26, 25, and 19. Okay. And especially my 19-year-old will tell, oh, well, why this didn't happen now? Growth don't happen overnight. You have to take a chance at yourself to be uncomfortable in so many situations to grow. Anything is like planting a flower, planting a seed. It don't come up overnight. You got to get that dirt ready. You got to get that water ready. Right. Sometimes that water don't even feel good. You got to get all of the soil. It might be dry some days. It might be wet. But then once all of that molding comes, and then that seed comes, and then that plant comes, and then you see leaves, and then you see the flowers. So you got to give it time. Everything just doesn't happen overnight. And you got to have that. Once you understand that mindset and know that and go for it with a positive mindset, we're always a force to be reckoned with.
That's right.
We have to understand to be transformational, because sometimes, when you're transformational, you also have a little bit of transaction.
That's right.
But you don't let transaction take over transformational.
That's right.
And and you have to be willing to, be accountable and understand that sometimes what your perception isn't always the right one. And you have to be willing to grow and open. And transparent.
That's right.
So those would be my things moving forward.
Wow. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
Oh my God. So what are 3 words that describe you?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Nah, I see.
Yeah, it is. I guess I would say I love. I'm very determined. Other than God-fearing, and I'm loyal.
Wow. Love, determined, and loyal. 3 words that describe my new niche show. She called me Aunt Tammy.
But
wow.
So I'm pretty sure my kids would say some other stuff, but but I'm just so honored to be in this moment. I'm so glad, my kids have moved mountains than I did, and so just to see them be able to see them grow like that, and that was one of the things that I asked God for.
Yeah,
was to have me here long enough for me to see them grow, and I'm appreciative of that.
Look at that, and look at all the things you've been through. That's why we're gonna come back on the show, because see, when you're talking about your health challenge that you had and your mother's health challenge, and everything. People need to hear these stories. And that's why I do the Tammy Show, so that people can hear those stories. So I want to thank you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Listen, tell the 3 J's I said hello. Your new Aunt Tammy said hello. But Radia, thank you so much for being on the show. You are such a remarkable woman. And if there's anything that I can do, as always, please let me know.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. Today has been different, but it's God ordained. So I'm just grateful.
And that's for both of us.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, my darling. Listen, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to Tammy. I tell you what, next week we've got a great show planned for you. Another phenomenal woman. She's a mayor, and I'm looking forward to her being on the show. And I just want to thank you as always. And I would be remiss if I did not thank my associate producer, Willie, and Alicia, and of course, T-Vision Network, and right here in the Dream Studio. So I want to thank them as well. Remember, if you are interested in being on the show, all you have to do is go to info@tammymccotry.com. Also, the other thing, and Radia and I am remiss in saying that, Radia, you can reach her at Radia Baxter at gmail.com. You can give her a call, 843-906-0933. I said it right. I'll go to her Instagram at Radia 922. You can go to Radia Baxter, and that's LinkedIn, and I think I mentioned all of them. So listen, this young lady can help you, a really phenomenal woman. And so I want to thank you again, Radia, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Okay. Tune in to Tammy on our YouTube channel. That's the Tammy TV Show YouTube channel. Comes on every Thursday at 7 p.m. I want to remind you, let's be a blessing to somebody today and every day. You don't know what someone is going through. Radia said it earlier. You may be having a bad day, but that one smile that you have will brighten your life and can brighten theirs as well. Remember, get on the phone. I always say this, call somebody up and check on them. So I want to thank you again for being on the show. And until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.